Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
This is our Workday product. As you might know, that Workday is a software as a service or a SaaS product. Now, anyone who is not aware of what is a SaaS product, but I mean, you want me to talk about what is a SaaS product. There are many applications, software applications. Can be on-prem, which is on-premise, or as a service. Now, what is an on-prem or on-premise software? An on-premise software is something that you have installed or the organizations have installed on their servers. They do the maintenance, they do the upgrades, everything. For example, you have Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office installed on your computer. Who will do the upgrades? The Microsoft will recommend some upgrades, but you are the one who is going to do it. It's your computer. You have to upgrade that product by yourself. You have to maintain the RAM, the laptop, or the other desktop computer. Correct. Now, let's say if Microsoft comes up with a very new product and your computer is not able to support that, but you want to use that new product, then maybe you have to upgrade your laptop, as all the maintenance, everything related to that product is dependent on you because you have installed that particular application on your system. It is an on premise, it is sitting on your system now. Contrast that with, let's say, the Gmail application, or maybe now the Office 365 subscription, or maybe the Outlook on the web. Do you care about upgrades made to Gmail? Is it? Do you have to take some action on your side? No, you just log into the browser and you enter your user ID and password, and there it is. You have the new and upgraded Gmail. Every time the Google Mail or even the Outlook on the web it upgrades, it is actually transparent to you. You use it just as service, correct? You do not have to upgrade your computer. You do not have to spend some time reading and understanding what are the upgrades and how that impacts it. You don't have to do that. You just log into that application and there you have it. Its software as a service application is something that you just pay and use. You pay a subscription and you use Gmail is free, but some of the other business applications have to be paid for. Workday is one such application. The maintenance, the upgrades, the new features, etc. are all taken care of by Workday, the organization who are using Workday. They don't have to keep they don't have to maintain their servers. They don't have to maintain any hardware to install and run Workday. All of that is taken care of by the by the company one day itself. Organizations who are using Workday, they will just log into the system and use it. This is what makes it a very compelling product or very popular product amongst small organizations, medium organizations, as some large organizations, because they don't have to spend a lot of money to have people to upgrade the servers, maintain databases, work on the new features, etc. etc. They pay the money and get the product. That's why it is called a software as a service product. Workday is now one of the most popular HCM software as a service products in the market. There are other products, Oracle Fusion, HCM. There is PeopleSoft, of course, and then there is a SAP SuccessFactors, and there are other smaller products as. But Workday has been gaining a lot of popularity over the last 5-6 years. And as of now, it is one of the market leaders as per the Gartner reports and it is one of the most popular HCM products out there in the market. Now, Workday is an HCM product primarily, that is where it is. That is what it is most famous for. But what they also has a very strong finance module, and now it has recently started a supply chain management module for its hospitals and other healthcare businesses, but primarily what they is known for is Workday HCM product, which is human capital management. Now every organization, when we say it, deals with its employees and contingent workers, the people who work for the organization. Now, when you say people who work for the organization or the HCM product, what are the typical things you expect an HCM product to do for you? What is an HCM? The XTM product, what are the things that it does? People who have experience with it. Payroll, yes, payroll can be one of the things that the XTM product does. Yes, recruitment, correct. Yes, important thing. What else again? The leave management, attendance. I'm an absence, leave. Management, yes. But these are definitely very, very important and useful functions, but primarily an HCM product. Can we call it as the a system of record of all your employees and contingent workers, for example, and contractors in that product you have. The employee information when they joined, who is their manager, what is their department, what is their location, what is their pay, what are they authorized to do, what are they supposed to do. And of course, you all said it can be a product which takes care about the time and absence. If an employee wants to go on a leave, the system should show to the employee what is their leave balance. You have to configure that for their leaves, and then once the employee applies for a leave, then what happens? It goes through an approval process. It goes to his manager, and then the manager approves it, and then the employee can go on and leave. Correct. There are many different things that an HCM product can do. In this particular training session, we are going to talk about the fundamentals of Workday HCM configurations. What are the things we are going to do to configure Workday and set up an organization? We are not going to be trained as users. We are going to be trained as configurators. All before I proceed, there are a couple of people who are getting in. That they are not able to hear, I just wanted to make sure. Hold, thank you. As part of this course, I was saying we are going to be trained to become as configurators. We are going to behave what the consultants we are going to get. Requirements from our functional users, from our business users who may not be versed with working, and then we will learn how we can configure those things in working. Let's say a new person joins, what will be the change to the organization hierarchy? How to first of all hire a new person using Workday, how to configure that, and then you'll configure the way a new person is going to be hired that the business can then go ahead and keep hiring new people. You are going to define the process in Workday. You are going to learn how you create reports. In Workday, you are going to learn about how to overall configure the layout, the organization, structure, and everything in Workday. All first of all, let's take a look at the product. It's an absolutely brand new look and feel that we are seeing here. This is the new look and feel that is going to be very common starting from March 2022 because this is the 2022 release one. All since I mentioned release one, let me quickly talk about the release cycles in Workday. I said a software as a service product will automatically upgrade for you. You don't, I mean, an organization who has subscribed to work there who has bought Workday. They don't need to spend a lot of money on resources and people to help to upgrade Workday always upgrades its product, and anybody who is subscribing to work to any organization that is using Workday will always get the latest and the greatest product. They will always have the latest version. You cannot be on a previous version. You have all. Organizations will be on the latest and the greatest version that is released. Having said that, there are 2 times a year when Workday will push its upgrades. Once the first one is called the Air 1 of the year. This is 2022. We will call the first release as 2022 Air 1 and then the next release will be called 2022 R2. Now the one comes up at around this February, March, April time frame and the R2 will come around in September, October time frame. Workday gives you a month to test all your different configurations, reports, etc. on the new version, and then it pushes the upgrade in the production system, in the live system, and we all get to see all the users in the organization will start to see the new look and feel of the product. It happens twice a year. Now let's take a quick look at the product itself. I said what there is an HCM product and it is a system of record. You see a big search bar at the top of your screen. In the top middle of your screen, here practically you can search for anything and everything that you are that is existing in world in this particular product. Let's say I want to search for an employee. I want to search for a particular worker. Now let's say I want to search for Steve Morgan. I want to search for Steve Morgan. This is the particular worker, Steve Morgan. If you just look at this, let me increase the font a little bit for easy viewing now. Can you tell me what is his business title? Who is Steve Morgan? A project manager, VP, he's a vice president. Somebody says project manager, somebody says vice president, somebody. Vice president, what is this title? What is this business title? Vice president, PM, HR. HUHR vice president. That is as per this particular business title. It's there on the screen now. Now, can you tell me what is his employee ID? 21. And what is where he located and when was he hired? 21. The original hire date is 1/1/2000, 2000, 1/1/2000. He was hired way back in 2000 and then maybe he left and then he was hired again on the 30th of September 2021 and he has been in this position for around 5 months and 3 days, and we also have his contact information, we have his phone number, we have his email address, and we also have his work address. We see where is his office, where, what is his work address. We also have his skills. He is good at deal execution, operational execution, and plan feel responsibility. You see, just by looking at this summary page, we can tell. A few things about this particular worker. Where did he do his college? He did his MBA in business administration from Northwestern University. This is a summary of the worker. If you want to have more details, let's say I want to have some more details about his job, I can click on this job tab and I can see all the different jobs that he has with the organization. He may have a primary job, he may have a secondary job with, I mean, more than one jobs, but the other details for that you will get in the jobs tab. Similarly, if you look at his job history, manager history, what is his management chain? Who are the workers he reports to? All of that will be available in the different tabs. Sure, for example, say I too have hired Steve Morgan. Basically, I'll pick all these details. Important, good question now. You have hired. I mean, when you say you have hired, meaning maybe you are part of the recruitment process, or maybe you are, I mean, who has updated all these details. How do we get all these details? Correct. Now there are two ways in which updated. Now, one is of course part of the job of what one is system generated. Let's say she's hired into a location. First, we create the location, we configure the location. Anybody who is on that location, of course, have the same work address whenever we are hiring a worker. Whenever we are hiring a worker, the date that the worker is hired will be system. We will just select. In the system, some of the things are entered at the time of the process that is happening, and some of the information can be updated by the worker themselves. That let's say his education. Who is the best person to update his education? Maybe he himself, because he is the one who knows his grades, the year he did the education, the institute he did his education from. What about the tab I am in the contact information now? Who is the best person to identify his home contact information or maybe his emergency? Contact information, probably the worker himself. It's the best person to be able to do that. It is a mix. Sometimes there is organizational data, and of course, there is some personal data. As what kind of software are we going to use it as a HCM consultant? This is a software. This is not an on-premise. You don't need to install anything on your system to be able to access Workday. You log into a browser. And there it is now. You might be wondering if you log into a browser and then we get to a product, then is it one system for everybody? All the organization, let's say a Walmart or a Lowe's, or everybody will get to see one server or one particular application? The answer is no. There is something called as a tenant. We will talk about tenant when we start our class, probably next week. Then I will first of all start by talking to you about what is a tenant, and then what is and how do we do the tenant management. Just for a quick move, if it's just one thing, a tenant is your instance of the product. Within a tenant, you have your organization's data. There will be a tenant for Walmart. There will be a tenant for let's say Lowe's, one for Bank of America. Bank of America has subscribed to Workday. Let's say will have their own instance of the product where they will have their employee data. All their employees will log into that system. You will have a separate link for that. You will log into that system and there you will see all the employee information of Bank of America. Go ahead with your question. Which means each user is known as a tenant. In this case, no each user. When you say each user means the worker, the employee or organization as a whole, company which has the people who have subscribed to Workday here individually. Individual users will not subscribe to Workday. Unlike Google Mail, where let's say Gmail, you have opened the Gmail account. You are the subscriber. Now, but here I mean that is true when you do Gmail. But let's say on same product, an organization has subscribed for this same product. They are the ones who are using it. It's a business product. That's why it's an organization which has subscribed to Workday. Yes, each organization's data will be in a separate tenant. Any questions for? Yes, I had one. How long does it take for us to understand HCM and be able to start applying for jobs? I will talk about that. I'll talk about the course, outline the duration of the course, and maybe your prospects after you complete the course. Yes, I will cover that. Let's quickly see what the product can do, what we typically do with this product. You see, here we have the water information. Now let's say I want to see what is this compensation. I will click on the compensation tab and then we will be able to see his total salary allowances, total cost for the company, what is the company he's part of, what are the different merit plans or bonus plans that is assigned to this particular worker. We can look at this worker and we can see what are the different things, what are the different plans or the compensation packages that is assigned to this particular worker. Now let's say I want to find all the workers. I don't know the names of all the workers. It's not possible. Let's say I want to find a worker who matches a certain criterion. I can use a report called find workers and then it will run and it will give me a menu option where I can actually look for workers. You see how many workers are there in this particular system. 2600, correct? 2651 workers are there in the system. And what does this screen remind you of? You have the results here and then you have probably some filter criteria on the left of your screen. What does this remind you of? Maybe if you click on some of these parameters, you see the results on the changes, or it is narrowed down. It is filtered down to 26 results because I chose something on the left. What does this remind you of? The B2B websites, Amazon, and those things where you actually you go there and you can narrow down your search results based on some filtered criteria. Maybe you're looking for a new laptop, or you're looking for a new phone, maybe just you are just shopping for some dress. You first of all enter a broad criteria, let's say T-shirts, and then you have the ability to filter it down. Let's say I want a T-shirt for men, and then you click on men on the left and then you choose the color. Let's say I want a T-shirt in black color. Maybe I'll choose black and I will choose a particular size on the left. I will choose certain filters on the left and then it will narrow down the results for me in the main window or maintain, and then I can choose whichever I am looking for. Now you see between 41 to 50 age Group I have around 26 people, and then let's say I want to further select anything based on their degrees. Let's say I want an MBA candidate out. Of 260 fit one people we started with, I'm left with one. Maybe I'm looking for a person in the 46 to 50, a 41 to 50 age group who has an MBA. Here is my worker. Correct. You see, this is a report. This is one of the many different reports that we will see as part of our course, and we will also learn how to create these interesting reports. You see, we could square in the system. We could, without knowing much about the system, without knowing much about the workers or the other population in this particular system, using a certain report, I was able to find out a lot of information. Now, if I click on Logan McNeil, again, I would see information that is similar to what we saw for Steve. Here we are looking at Logan McLean again. Here we have all of her information. QSQ was hired on the 1st of January 2000. She has been with the organization for 22 years, 2 months, and this is her contact information. This is her work address, skills, leave history, compensation, every single piece of information pertaining to this. A particular worker, her system of record, it is mentioned here in Workday. The person's profile is logged in the same as the one that you pulled out. It shows your own details. It's sorry what details. It's I see that Logan McNeil is a person who owns this page, who is logged in because the profile picture. Oh, yes, I am logged in as Logan McNeil. I am logged in on behalf of Logan McNeil. It's kind of a coincidence that I'm logged in as Logan, but on the search criteria, I also got Logan as the worker. Logan can also view this information if she clicks on her own profile. If she clicks on her own profile, she will be seeing the same page. She is seeing her own page, but now you may be wondering, I'm seeing a lot of information here. Let's say compensation, and she's able to see the compensation. If you remember, Logan was also able to see the compensation for Steve Morgan. Now, does that mean that anybody can see the information for any other worker? No, not everyone. Not everyone. Why? Or why not? Why won't we be able to see everybody's information? What will stop us? Restriction, yes, security. Now let's say we asked what we are typically able to see our leave history or emergency contact information. In the system, our compensation information, we are able to see our manager information. But now let's say, can we see the compensation information of our colleague? Let's say I want to see my colleague's info a compensation. If I just want to know how much money he or she is making, I cannot do that. But maybe as a manager, can I look at the compensation of my director? Probably yes, probably yes. I will be able to do that. What allows me to do that? What are the organization access requests? Access request. That is what allows me to view that. Let's not get too much ahead of ourselves. Supervisory organization, and it's come to those topics in due course, but yes, the access allows us to do that now. Can a manager terminate an employee? Yes, it depends on that provided or not. Correct. It depends on the access provided to the manager. Right? Typically, a manager will have the access at least to initiate the termination. It might goes It might go through several other processes, several approvals, etc. But at least the manager can initiate that, isn't it? Can an employee terminate his or her manager? No, we would love to do that. No, unfortunately. But then I mean what? What stops us from terminating our own managers? Again, I access rest. We are not authorized to do that. We are not authorized to do that. We are not authorized to terminate our own managers. What are the tasks you're authorized to? Do what you are allowed to do. What you are not allowed to do is controlled by the security permissive. In what is the data you are allowed to view and what are the tasks you are allowed to do? That is controlled by security. We will talk about the different security permissions or security, the way workplace security works, and we will try to understand that and then we will configure that as part of the course. Having said that, I think it's time that we quickly take a look at the different topics that we are going to cover as part of the course. The time that it will take. I mean, the duration of the course and the way we are going to do it. In short, let me do this for better readability. This is going to be our Workday Techno Functional course content. We are going to have sessions for 6 weeks, typically six and a half. We stretch because of some questions, or maybe some unplanned, or maybe some public holidays. It's 7. Typically, we take 6 weeks. It can be a week here and there. I mean, it can be 6.5 to 7 weeks as but typically we try to complete by 6 weeks, 1 hour per day, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday IST. If you are joining us from us, it will be Sunday evening till Thursday evening for us people. But for India, but if you are further on towards the east, Australia, Singapore, it is Monday to Friday for you. Monday to Friday in the morning. The reason we are not able to do on, let's say Friday evening, as time is that's because that's when Workday is down for maintenance. Every week, all the weekly features, upgrades, bug fixes, etc. are put into the system at the end of Friday. It's Workday's way of telling you, come on, you had a busy week, tough week. Go and take a break. Friday evening as time system will be down for maintenance. That's why we cover Monday to Friday IST in the mornings. That means Sunday night to Thursday night US time. Here is the course agenda. We will start with the core concepts. We will start with what? What is the basics of Workday? What a business object? What do we mean by the different core concepts in Workday and how to navigate in Workday? This is a new product. For a lot of you, some of you may have seen this in the past. You may have heard about it. You may have seen videos. You may have used it. Maybe you are familiar with the navigation. But for a vast majority of you, it might be a new product. We need to understand how we navigate, how we find our way in the system, how to do the tasks, how to configure something. We will learn about the navigation. Then we will start talking about the different organizations in Workday. How do we configure the different types of organized? What are the different types of organizations? For example, supervisory organization, a company, a location, a region, a cost center. What are these and how do we configure all of that? Then we will look at defining the staffing models, how the workers will be staffed or how these organizations will be staffed. For example, you created a department. You have created a new department, let's say information technology, or maybe you've created a new department called sales and distribution. Now, how are you going to bring in people to that particular department? You are going to hire some people, or maybe you are going to bring in some contingent workers in that particular department. How you are going to do that? You define a framework, and that is the staffing model. Then we will create jobs and positions. We will know how to create those jobs and positions in our system. You see where we are going with this. And then we define the compensation that we are going to assign to our workers. And then actually we are going to start hiring. We are going to bring in people into the different organizations that we have created. We will bring in workers, we will hire workers, and then we will talk about the security. I said who is supposed, who is authorized to do what, who is authorized to view what the compensation information. We are going to be able to view our own compensation information, but we are not able to view the compensation of my colleague. What stops us from doing that, or what allows me to view something versus something else? We will talk about that as how to configure security. We will understand how workplace security works. Then we will talk about the business processes. The business processes is a very, very key concept in Workday, because that will define the series of steps that needs to happen to achieve a business objective. For example, you are going to hire a worker, or maybe let's say let's go for a simple one. Let's say applying for a leave. You as a worker are going to apply for a leave. Can anyone tell me what typically happens if you are applying for a leave? Send a request to the manager. You send, first of all, you initiate, you are the one who is initiating a leave request. And once you initiate that request, then what happens? It goes to your manager. Why is it going to your manager for their approval? For their, because of course, because that manager is there in the hierarchy. That manager is typically one level above or one level on top of the particular worker. The immediate manager, it goes to that manager for approval. And then what can the manager do? They can approve, reject, or maybe I can send it back to you for revision. They can say what you have asked for a leave on the 11th of March, but can you change it to the 15th of March, for example? They can send it back to you for revision, but then you put your foot down and say, no, I want to go on 11th. And then you send it back, you discuss with the manager, and then the manager maybe agrees and approves. And then what happens? Maybe it goes to the HR team for their review, because you might be taking too many leaves this year. Later must be aware that you have run out of your leaves balances. If you run out of your leave balance, that what can happen? Maybe there will be a lot of loss of space. There can be a loss of pay, that you are not supposed to take these many leaves. Let's say if your leave exceeds your quota or allowance or your leave limit for that year, then what happens? Maybe there is a loss of pay. Who needs to be informed if there is a loss of pay? The payroll team employee, of course, yes, because the hair team, and also maybe the payroll team. Hey, payroll team, this employee is taking too much leave. Deduct some money from their pay. The employee, the payroll team might need to be involved now. Having said that, now can you tell me if this process specific to you, or it for everybody in that particular organization? It is same for everybody in that particular. It's not specific to you. There is no biasness towards you. That only. For you, it goes for approval. For the rest of the employees, if they can take any leave they want. No, it's not that. It's the same for everybody. It is a process. It is the way the business operates. It's the way that they have set up their processes. That is what we will configure in Workday. And what is the business process then? It is a sequence of events. It's a sequence of tasks that needs to happen to achieve a business objective. That is what we will see, how we can configure that, how we design those processes in Workday. How do we send something for approval? We do review, and then how do we do all these conditional checks? We will see how we configure business processes. Then we move to the technical part of the course. Now don't be too scared about technical. It is actually something to do where we create reports. Now reports again is for everybody. You want to become a functional consultant, you want to become a technical consultant, anything. For all of us, reports is very, very important. We need to be able to use reports. To get the data from the system, I ran a report called Find Workers. I ran it. To get some information from the system, we need to be able to create those reports. To get or to query data from the particular system, we will talk about the data sources, how Workday stores its data, that we are able to extract the data that we need to create the reports. We will talk about that then once we know how to create reports. Also talk about calculated fields. Now, calculated fields is something that is specific to Workday now. This will allow you to do different calculations, data manipulations within working. Sometimes you need the data just in a different format. Maybe you need the data where you need the employees and name in uppercase or maybe in lowercase, maybe just a requirement. What? They will not be able to cater to all those requirements based on your typical requirement. You are given the tools to be able to manipulate data. Those are calculated fields. There are different functions available. You want to do some arithmetic calculation. You want to find out 75% of something. You don't have to take out your calculator and do it. You can do that using some calculated fields in Workday. Let's say you have a compensation. You want to understand the impact of giving a 7% increment to all your employees, or maybe it's a bit more complicated than that. You want to find out what is the total capital outlay, what is the total increase in cost for you as an. Then you can create those calculated fields and let Workday do the calculation for you. You want to identify whether an employee is a manager or not. Maybe based on that, you're going to give them some special allowances. You have to find out whether an employee is manager or not. Now you won't go into the system and check for all the 10,000 or 15,000 employees. We will create some calculations based on that, and then we will also see what are some typical integrations. ABE is Enterprise Interface Builder. Now ABE is something that we use to exchange data between Workday and other systems as functional consultants, as we are going to use. The inbound DIBs, a lot inbound DIBs are used to load transactional data. You're going to hire 500 work, that may be even 50 workers. You will not go into the screen and do one by one. I will show you how to do it, how to do a bulk load using inbound EIPs. You'll put it in an Excel spreadsheet and load it, how to and create those EABs, how to configure those EABs. We will discuss that in this class, and then we will also talk about Core Connector. Now, this is typically for the integrations consultant. The A functional consultant need not be too worried about this. If somebody wants to become a technical, they would be requiring these core connectors, but I will cover this. Nonetheless, just for the benefit of everybody. All this is the course agenda, and on top of this, there are many other things that I am going to give you. Now, those are some additional reading materials that will cover topics recruitment, payroll, and benefits and compensation and etc. How are we going to run this course? Each class will have a mix of theory and demonstration. Theory and demonstration I will talk about the particular topic, the underlying theory, and then I will explain or I will show how it is done. In Workday, I will demonstrate how it is done in work, and then I will give you some assignments home. Assignments that I would expect that you would practice after the class. It is a software product after all. The more you practice, the more familiar you and become with the product, and that's when the confidence comes to clear interviews. More practice you do, the better you are at your interviews, because all the screens, all the menus, if it sell you, just remember on the top of your head, they will ask you, how do you do this, how do you configure this, and you will know all. Then I would expect you to practice. You will get access to this particular system that I will also give you projects to work on requirements where you will configure end to end. You will configure from the beginning to the end. You will configure everything just for more and more practice. And I will also give some videos to watch that you can. Those are quick, small videos, 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you can watch to come prepared for the next day a session, or you can also keep them handy just for a quick revision before your actual interviews. All that when you go for interviews, we have better people. You want to revise the topic, you don't have to scramble and search for your books and PDFs and a tea. You just know you can go to that particular video, quick 5 minutes video. You revise that particular a topic. I'm going to give you a lot of material that some of it will. You can retain, you can keep with you, and also the class recordings. Every class will be recorded. All the class recordings will be made available to you after one day. Each day the session happens. The team will upload the video. You will get it later in the day or maybe the next day. Even if you miss a session, you have it available to you forever. You are going to have this access forever. There is a lot of material that I'm going to give you to help you prepare for your interviews. All I need from you all is a commitment. A typical commitment from you will be around 2 to 2.5 hours of your day each day. 1 hour will be for our regular classes, and then your study, homework, preparation for your next session will also take around an hour. 2 hours per day. If you are willing to make that commitment, you're going to be very successful after taking this course. All, I will end here now. I will let you ask any questions now. I already have one question in the chat which says, do you need to have previous experience in it to do this course, to understand Workday, to learn about Workday? No, you don't need to have any prior experience in it or anything. But you see, when we go for our job search, I'll be very honest with you. When we go for our job search, it always helps to have some experience to show we can manipulate that. We can add work experience on top of that. and to highlight the things that we did as part of the training. I will help you with resume building. I will give you sample resumes for people with no experience, people with significant experience, people with people soft and SAP experience, people with testing experience and mainframe and on. I will give you different kinds of sample resumes. I will also tell you the things to put in your resume to be at least shortlisted by the different companies. Yes, I will help you with those, but having some experience, it definitely helps because you need to tell to your prospective employer that you have some prior experience. How fast do people get hired? As of now, the market is very, very, I would say, hot now. A lot of people are getting hired. There are a lot of openings in different countries. It can be in the US, it can be in Europe, it can be in India, in Southeast Asia. There are a lot of opens irrespective of where you are located. You will see a lot of job openings for different kind of profiles. It can be for and very senior consultants. It can be for new consultants. It can be for people who just have an overview of the product and on. There are the workplace gaining immense popularity. There are a lot of jobs that are there in the market. What are the other modules? Can you give an overview? What is finance? Yes, I will talk about some of the modules as part of the discussion. I will give you the materials for some of the advanced modules, but remember that all the other modules apart from finance and payroll, all the other modules of Workday, they are built up of the same functional content that we are going to cover. The course that we're going to cover will lay the foundation for all those different concepts, and I will tell you how to. I will give you the materials for those other modules as you can go through them. You can read more about them if you are interested, or maybe if you are preparing for a certain interview, will we get a certificate? After completion of this course, yes, I can hear you. Just let me answer this question from Smithy and then I will talk to you. Range, just give me one more. Will we get a certificate? The certificate can only be given by Workday. When we talk about a certification, that is only given by Workday. No one else can give you a certification other than Workday. The training that you go through, it will give you the concepts that we cover in two certifications, Workday HCM Core and Workday Integrations Core. Both of those certification courses are combined into the course that we are delivering, but there is no certificate after completion. You cannot show this to somebody to think that, hey, I did this course from such and such institute. I know about what? No, there's no such thing. It's only your knowledge. How do you get certified? You get certified only if you are part of some at partner companies. Workday has its ecosystem of partners. You have to be a part of those partners, and those partners have to sponsor your Workday training and certification. Only after that you get certified. It's not, I meet the requirements of the course, I take an exam and I'm certified. No, not that. And then it said, I have a question. How these Workday partners will hire us if we don't have the certification? Because if I'm familiar and everybody in India is looking for certifications, whether you have the certification or not, on with you or not, that's the main challenge in Indian market that we've going to face. Can you give us some light on that? Of course, all You see a lot of organizations. You see that demand has far outstripped the supply as of now. That by that, what we mean is from the, I would say, first or second quarter of 2021, we are seeing tremendous amount of new implementations that are happening. All the organizations are finding it difficult to keep up pace with the rapid growth of implementations that we are seeing. During the implementation, we need certified consultants. The implementation is over, it is the work customer is on Workday, then we need people to maintain that. Both in both ends of the spectrum, there are a lot of jobs. One is for organizations who have already implemented Workday. They need people to help to maintain up and enhance that system. For that, you have a lot of jobs. But on the other hand, for implementation, since you brought of the topic, implementation partners are also looking for people. Initially, people were looking for only certified consultants. You're already certified by some partner you joined our organization. But now the companies have realized that it is not always possible to fish in this pool of resources were already certified. They are willing to take the cost and the time to get someone certified. Now, how will this training help if the company realizes that you are aware of or the concepts? Then they can easily send you for certification and they can quickly get you certified. You see, the certification cost is $4,000. $4,000 if you go and you are unable to clear it, then it's a huge problem for the organization because they are spending $4,000 for you. If you are able to tell them about the concepts, if you are able to tell them about the things that we are covering in this course, you have a very, very good chance of getting selected even in partner companies who will then sponsor your certification. I will give you some leads, some recruiters, some organizations, partner organizations who are looking for non-certified people as you can apply there. Talk about the course that you did, and I'm sure you will be able to clear the interview and get selected and then eventually get certified. What are the different roles that we have with respect to? You said functional consultant, technical consultant, what are the differences and what are the experience levels? It's a very, very broad kind of thing that you asked. The thing is, there are jobs for everybody. Now when you say in USA require an HCM consultant to be certified, I would disagree with that comment. If you are going to be an implementer, if you are going to implement Workday for your customers, to be able to implement, you need a Workday certification, correct? That is true, but to be a Workday consultant, you don't need to be Workday certified. Now, since we are talking about certification, let me add that point. Now, let's say you are a partner of those 27 different companies who are partner companies. You are certified, let's say, but then your customer company, you join a company, let's say Bank of America. You join a company, maybe Geco in US, or maybe Standard Insurance in UK in US, or maybe Royal Bank of Scotland, or maybe Lowe's in India or Google. Those are not partner companies, but they are customer companies. They have implemented Workday as their HCM product, and you join those organizations, then what happens? Your certification goes away the moment you leave the partner company and you join a customer company. Your certification lapses. The certification that we have is only for implementers. People who are going to implement Workday for their customer companies. Do not be too obsessed or bothered about a Workday certification. We have very successful candidates, people with 15 years of experience in world. Although that is very rare, but still, we have people with 7, 8, 9, 10 years experience who are never certified, who were never certified. Certification is not mandatory. I would say if you want to implement question here, sorry to interrupt because I think my question would conclude to what you're talking. Ideally, I'll tell you my goal of attending this session is now. Let me know if this platform is correct for me. I understand that certification when I was asking about, I only need to ask to get a break. I understand that if you're already working with any partners or you are into a similar roles and you can take this training and start implementing this for your organization. Or with that experience, you can apply outside. But what about somebody who does not have this background? They want to get into it. That's why I was talking about the certification that will this experience of it? Will this course help us get a certification? Which will actually add to if we have to apply for any internship or any training with any trade partners. In what day you don't have that kind of certification? It's not a Microsoft product or maybe a Salesforce or a typical, let's say, and say certification. You take the course, you clear the exam, you're certified in those products, but not in Workday. In Workday, the certification is only required if you're going to work on an implementation project. Apart from that, it is not required. Now, coming back to your question, let's say you have a break, or maybe you you are doing something else now, you want to get into the ecosystem. You want to get a job in Workday, then I think that's the reason most of us are here for. Having said that, after taking this course, you will be able to start applying for those jobs, let's say from an Indian perspective. Let's say a company Hell, they're not an implementation partner, but they have a strong Workday practice. They are supporting their customers on work who are already on Workday. TCS, Infosys, these are not tech. Mahindra, who used to be Satyam before tech. Mahindra, these companies are hiring people in large numbers and they know that they are not getting certified. They're not going to get certified. And consultants, because certified consultants will lose their certification once they join these companies. But they are going to get people anyway who are knowledgeable about what they could know the concepts, who will be able to support their customers for their Workday implementations. All the same is a story in Australia, US, etc. There are a lot of companies who have already migrated or shifted to Workday as the HCM product. They need people to help enhance that, maintain that. Then you see a lot of jobs. Don't be fixated on the certification or the saying that if I don't have a certificate, I can't be successful. It's not that. You need a certification only to represent Workday, to implement for a new customer. Let me put it that way, that's where you need a certificate. You go walk up to the customer and say, hey, I am here to implement Workday for you. Here is my certificate. Certification. The customer says, I know you are trained by Workday and you can implement Workday for me. That is the only time you need a certification. Apart from that, you don't need them. That part. Again, my question again comes, how do we add it in our resume? We can just add that we took a training, and how will people know that I have an and a knowledge about HCM implementation, or I have a knowledge of a techno-functional. What is there which we can add it in others? You may and take you can this particular. Correct. Let me come to that. You can. I got your question. You can say that you have worked on this project. I will give you 2 or 3 projects. You will say that you have worked on those projects and you, if you have some prior XP, maybe you have taken a break now. But if you have some prior work experience, you can put this experience there, that there. You worked as a business analyst in your previous organization. It can be 4 years ago. It can be 5 years ago, as you can put it there. I mean, we have to include some work, the experience as part of our issue, as part the project internship, or if you are in the US, then yes, maybe you can work, as you can mention you work as a freelancer, as a consultant, etc. But we have to put it in our resumes somehow. Otherwise, the recruitment team of different organizations, they will not consider those resumes. That is a fact. We have to put it somewhere in. If you have some experience, it definitely helps to mix this workday as part of that resume especially. But let me also add to it that there are a lot of organized, especially my organization, and I will tell you more about it once we are towards the end of the course. I can give you some context and you can straight away apply there. In our organization, we encourage people who wanted to join after they have taken a break. We have a lot of people who had taken a career breaks, or maybe they did something else. They were in sales, they were in maybe networking and those products, and they have now made a career transition to Workday via an implementation button. I work for an organization that is an implementation or Workday partner. We are looking for people who can just learn Workday and get certified. Our organization is willing to sponsor people to get certified and trained and everything. It doesn't matter if you have a break. Only thing we are looking for is you need to be trainable, or you need to have the basics of working. The rest of it will take. That's what my organization is doing. I'm sure there are other organizations in the market also. What would be the success ratio? I mean, if it is for experienced a candidate, for example, I'm currently working as a manager into talent acquisition. I do have bit idea as an end user for this workday. If I keep around 3 of them, 4 years experience probably, does it work for the salary part and the level of the position, or can you please brief what would be the next stage of my career? And also, as you mentioned, the techno-functional, is it sufficient to go with the experience? Just without for HCM codes, or should I do any other specific modules? I would say you take one step at a time. You do this, I won't push sell this particular course. But what I will say is the foundation is important before you plan for any other advanced module. You mentioned you have some experience as a user how the recruitment area works in Workday. Now, if you do the rest of it, the other foundation, in the way the organization works, the way the security works, etc., there you will have a better understanding of the work to product. And then if you want, you start applying for jobs after that. If you see that or maybe you want to focus only on being a recruitment consultant, then you can take up another course on recruitment. But typically, this course is enough for people to get into the world ecosystem to get a good job success ratio. I cannot give you an exact percent because I do not have the authority, the security, and permissions don't allow me to interact with all of you outside this training. I will not be able to give you an exact number, but a significant number of people have reached out to me later saying that they have got a job and now they need maybe some help, but they have some doubts, etc. They need some support. That tells me that a lot of the people have actually converted and got into jobs after doing this. It has this. Trainings are almost all the modules of work. Yes. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.